Hello, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. In this particular episode, I'd like to finish off the initial Trump deportation series. Not to say that there won't be a lot of other videos on Trump immigration policies, which I'm quite certain that, in a week from now, I'll probably have a whole plethora of new videos to come out on it. But as you know, there is a humongous variety and availability of different immigration topics, and we can't let everything fall to the wayside in anticipation of what Trump will or won't do. Because there is the whole Immigration Nationality Act and tons of statutes and cases on other types of visas and so forth. And so I encourage you, if you still want to come to the U.S., there's a ton of different kinds of visas, and I can certainly help you with that. But for the last, in this initial Trump series, we have gone through the initial stages of, when the immigration would get you to, what happens in detention, to fighting the case, to getting the immigration judge decision, to appealing at the Board of Immigration Appeals. And we've done some other stuff, but that's the basic synopsis. Now, the next thing you might be asking is, what happens if you lose at the Board of Immigration Appeals? Is it all lost? And the answer is no. From there, you can actually bring your case to the Circuit Court of Appeals through what's called a petition for review. And this is the first time that you will actually be able to fight your case in front of federally appointed judges in the judiciary. Up until this point, 100% of it has been through administrative process and administrative proceedings through administrative judges, never the actual judiciary. So sometimes I actually prefer going up to the Circuit Court of Appeal, because a lot of times, in different cases, you just get rubber stamped decisions, but you can't get a real judicial decision until it gets up to the circuit court. So, I always say sometimes you have to fight a few battles to win the war. Well, before you get up to the Circuit Court of Appeals, certainly you have already fought a few battles. However, understand that these judges, you'll be in front of a 3-person panel, and these justices listen to all federal law type cases, whether it's criminal or tax or patent, or civil, all different kinds. And immigration, of course, is one of them. So you get a new view, and you get a new ability to have your case heard, and you get to argue various items that they actually do have essentially the authorization to either change and or reverse and so forth. And so once it gets to the Circuit Court of Appeals, there is not an automatic stay of deportation like there is with the Board of Immigration Appeals. So you have to file the stay to do that, and also request in case for extended voluntary departure if that's what you were given at the underlying hearing. And then what happens is the briefs go back and forward for some time, and ultimately, if they want, they can request oral argument, at which point, if oral argument goes forward, they then listen to the arguments, and then several months later, you will get a decision on your case. Now, there's basically three different decisions that can come from the Circuit Court of Appeals. And just so you understand where these courts are in relation to the whole system, you have the very, very top, which is the U.S. Supreme Court. And then below that, you have approximately 12 circuit courts of appeal covering all of the United States, and then the Washington, D.C. district. So essentially, they're very high courts. They are just below the U.S. Supreme Court, and so they certainly have a lot of power. They have a lot of decision making, and every one of them was appointed by a president, depending which president happened to appoint them at the time. And generally, you get three who will hear your case. And so they can either flat out deny it and dismiss it, they can flat out grant it and reverse, or they can send it back down to the BIA with instructions of what to do or not to do, depending on the nature of your case. Now, once it's done with the petition for review, then you have other options as well. It's not over until it's over. You can do a petition for rehearing en banc, and what that means is that you disagreed with the three-judge panel and you want all of the justices essentially on that panel to be able to listen to the case. And so, if that happens, then you end up, or your attorney ends up with a whole line of justices who will listen to the case. And then, of course, there's the writ of certiorari, and that goes up to the U.S. Supreme Court, which, that of course is very time consuming, and they do not pick very many of them. But, that, as far as judicially speaking, would be the end of the line. And as you can see, it does take years to get to that point. And even though it does take years, we're always on the lookout, because maybe it might be at the Circuit Court of Appeal, but then maybe some new memorandum will come out that will give you some other form of relief, which we can pursue on that particular ground. So, the bottom line with, my Trump deportation series is there's about, I don't know, I think I did about 7 or 8 videos in this series, and it primarily goes to show you that there's a whole lot of fight that can be put into an immigration case. And I just briefly spoke about them. I mean, if I wanted to go in detail, I'd be doing 300 videos, from beginning to end of the deportation process. But I just gave you a little flavor so you don't lose hope, that you think that the moment Trump might become president, that all hope is lost and you're going to be, forcibly removed back to your home country. It doesn't work like that. And there are lots and lots of arguments and fight that can be done. And it takes time, lots of time. So if you like the video, click like, subscribe, and also feel free to give my office a call. I do give one free consultation, let you know what can be done and so forth. More on the coming videos.